Tonight, there is growing push right now across the country to declare racism a public health crisis. Several states and cities are either passing or considering passing resolutions to address systematic racism, and this includes Baltimore. WMAR 2 News' Ray Strickland takes a look at how the issue is plaguing our country right now, and it may be about to change. Ray?
There are racial disparities across every metric of health. And throughout the United States, the currency of inequality is years of life.
Former Baltimore City Health Commissioner Dr. Lena Nguyen testified before a congressional subcommittee Thursday as she called on Congress to address racial disparities that are now in the spotlight because of the coronavirus.
Children born today can expect to live 20 years more or less depending on where they are born and the color of their skin. And there needs to be recognition of the fact that racism is a public health issue. Indeed, a public health crisis in and of itself.
The pandemic, along with nationwide protests demanding for police reform after the death of George Floyd, has brought inequalities and systemic racism to the forefront. A number of states and cities across the country are now declaring racism a public health issue, most recently being Wisconsin and Cleveland, Ohio.
We're dealing with lack of opportunities for black and brown people. Housing opportunities, all that's happening in Baltimore. It ain't just happened, it's been happening.
Baltimore passed a resolution back in April doing the same, and the author of that measure, Councilman Robert Stokes, is hoping to make it law.
If you look around the neighborhoods, they look like two different cities. Systemic racism started in housing. You look at neighborhoods, and now you don't see nothing but vacant houses. That's also part of systemic racism. So we got to have a national conversation to talk about this.
Councilman Stokes says he wants to create a commission to develop a strategy to address these disparities. He says it's time to do this now before it's put on the back burner.
And if we don't do that, we still going to have underlying issues in this city when people are murdering each other because they in survival mode. They got to eat and take care of the basic needs of their household.
In Baltimore, Ray Strickland, WMAR 2 News.